Are you prepared to leave? Reese asked as soon as the door to his office shut, without even looking at Trinity.
After their weekend with the Azure River Pack, Trinity hadn't seen or talked to Reese again all week. Not until it was time for them to make their next set of pack introductions. Yes. Is this really all he called me into his office for? I can pack my own bag, Reese.
I expect you to be as convincing as you were last time. Reese still didn't look up from his desk. Can you manage that?
I guess that depends on you, doesn't it? So that's what this was about. How could Reese expect her to play the part of devoted mate if he was going to be cruel to her behind closed doors?
What's that supposed to mean? Reese finally looked up from his desk.
If you can behave yourself, Fido, then so can I.
Reese growled loudly at his least favorite pet name. Are you trying to provoke me, little bunny? Reese questioned, to which Trinity smiled. You better get this out of your system now.
Gladly. Got a baseball bat? Trinity asked.
Reese shook his head. As long as no one else in the pack, or any other pack for that matter, sees this attitude, I don't care. You can make your little threats all you want.
Little threats. Trinity approached the desk. You are so condescending.
Yes, little threats. That's all a little defenseless bunny is capable of. Now, if you're done wasting my time, we'll be leaving here in 20 minutes for our next pack visit. I trust you are ready. Reese walked towards the door, but Trinity blocked his path. Trinity, be a good little bunny and get out of my way. What's your problem?
What's my problem? Trinity was seething. I didn't choose to be your Luna. You feel the mate bond too. But you didn't get what you wanted, and all you've done is take it out on me since I got here. Just because I don't fawn all over you or worship at your feet like all the she-wolves at your party throwing themselves at you. You're acting like a child. If you're concerned about me being nice to you in front of others, maybe you should have the decency to treat me with respect.
You've got it wrong, Trinity. I don't need a Luna who worships at my feet. That's not why I'm rejecting you. It's because you're too weak to have a wolf. Reese gently picked Trinity up by her shoulders to move her out of the way. I've given you everything you could ever want, Trinity. Any other woman in this pack would kill to have what you have. Don't forget that. All I'm asking you to do is do your duty as Luna.
Trinity looked away to hide the tears in her eyes. Everything I could want? No one wants to be told they're incapable of being loved.
20 minutes. Reese walked out of the room without looking back.
Trinity was relieved to see that Vincent would be joining them this time, even though he was clearly worried about his mate. She seemed to be in the clear, but any complication with pregnancy was scary, especially for a werewolf. Just after sunset, they pulled up to the Black Moon Pack in the roomy SUV, rather than Reese's impractical sports car. They'd ridden in silence, with Trinity reading a book in the back seat the entire way. The Black Moon Pack directly bordered their own. It was about the same size population-wise, but they had significantly less territory. They had lost a territory battle many years ago when other packs seized much of their land. Vincent said they had been jealous of larger packs for a long time, including ours. The plan was to stay overnight, but before Trinity even got out of the car, she could sense the animosity radiating from the dozen or so pack members standing outside.
Reese, how are you, young man? Stanley, the alpha of the Black Moon Pack, approached the car as Reese stepped out. He was in his mid-30s with bright blonde hair and dark green eyes that were almost black. Reese opened the door for Trinity. There was a lot for her to learn about being a Luna, but she was catching on quickly. She took his outstretched hand, and Reese pulled her into his side, wrapping an arm around her. I'm wonderful, Stanley. How have you been?
From the widening of Stanley's eyes, Trinity knew he was not expecting her. I thought this was just going to be another negotiation. Who might this be? Stanley asked.
This is my mate, and the Luna of my pack. Reese looked at Trinity. Trinity, this is Stanley, alpha of the Black Moon Pack.
Well then, congratulations are in order. You should have told me in advance. I do not have a suitable room ready for you to stay in. Trinity could sense Reese's annoyance, but she knew it wasn't about the lack of accommodations. There was some kind of rift between these two.
We will stay elsewhere tonight.
Trinity didn't know this was part of the plan, but she hid the surprise from her face. Well, come inside. Tell us about your mate. Then we can get to business. Stanley's voice sent chills through Trinity's body, and not the good kind. Something about him was off. It must just be because he doesn't like Reese. As much as Reese annoyed her, Trinity's bond with him didn't allow her to like anyone who wanted to cause Reese harm. Stanley led the way into a grand dining hall, where all of the men who stood with him outside stationed themselves around the room. Stanley rang a small bell, and a maid hurried in. "We need 2 more place settings." Stanley didn't hide the annoyance in his voice. "Our guest tonight brought his new Luna and another pack member along with him." As the maid hurried away for more dishes, Reese leaned down and pretended to kiss Trinity's ear.
Don't eat anything they give you. Trust no one here.
Trinity nodded, but hid it in a small giggle, as if his kiss tickled her. "You seem to have found yourself a beauty," Stanley smirked. He had been watching them. Trinity felt her skin crawl.
Yes, she is very beautiful, isn't she? Reese's arm was around her shoulder, and he gave her a squeeze.
"Wherever did you find such a lovely girl?" Stanley didn't take his eyes off Trinity. "I would almost rather be alone with Reese than have to keep dealing with this creep." Almost.
She's been hiding in my pack all along.
Isn't it funny how the things we want the most are often right under our noses? The maid arrived with the food. Trinity knew she wouldn't be eating any of it, but she was happy for the distraction. "It's a shame you have to leave. I'm sure we can ready a room for you during the meeting, Reese." Stanley's words made Trinity stiffen. He hadn't taken eyes off of her.
No, I must insist we go elsewhere. I'm sure you remember how things were when you were newly mated, Stanley. Reese mocked with a hint of finality.
"I do remember those wild days," Stanley laughed, still watching Trinity. "If you insist, then I will not push it. But the offer still stands. Are you hungry, Luna?" Trinity had been pushing the food around on the plate without actually eating. "It's been a long day. I suppose I'm not very hungry," she replied, and Stanley smiled. "But surely you need your strength, Luna." Stanley laughed. "Especially if you aren't getting much sleep, as your alpha suggests."
Enough. Reese stood up. It's time to get on with business.
"Very well, Alpha," Stanley smirked. "Follow me." Stanley and Reese left the room with just over half the guard following them, leaving Vincent and Trinity behind with 4 of Stanley's men. "Your Alpha better agree to the terms this time," one of the guards snapped as soon as the doors closed. "I'm getting sick of having to deal with these constant meetings." "Our Alpha is not interested in an exchange of territories," Vincent stated flatly. "Lands were decided generations ago. It is no fault of ours that your previous Alpha made poor decisions. Your pack has more land than it needs. Your Alpha will give up something." The biggest of the men stood next to the door that Reese and Stanley had left through. Trinity was not comfortable with him leering over the exit between her and Reese. But then again, Reese said he wouldn't save me next time. "He can pay with his land, his life, or his Luna." The big man gave Trinity a particularly nasty look. "He can pick, or we can." "You will not lay a finger on the Luna," Vincent growled. "Is that a challenge?" The big man smiled. "It's a fact." Vincent tensed his body in preparation for a fight. Trinity quickly scanned the room for a weapon. She wouldn't be much help against this many men, but she would fight as hard as she could. "You think you could stop us, all by yourself?" The man positioned himself between Vincent and the door and took a slinking step toward the table. "I will, or I will die trying." Trinity's eyes went wide. She didn't want Vincent dying right now, not with the baby on the way and 2 small children at home. "Look how scared she is," one of the men laughed, mistaking Trinity's apprehension for fear. "The Luna has little faith in you." Vincent stood as the men encroached. If he had a plan, it was time to act on it. Now.
Want to know what happens next? Click on the link in the description below to watch further episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha.